Hi, I'm Roger. Welcome back to creating your own 11 ball video arcade game. Previously, we built all the graphics for the game, so now it's time to start making the game, doing the coding. As I said earlier, we're going to be using Visual Basic from Visual Studio 2017. I found out 2019 is out there now, and I have downloaded it, but I'm going to continue doing this project in 2017. So let's get started. File, new project, Visual Basic, Windows Form application. And let's go ahead and rename this 11 ball. Let's rename this to 11 ball. Alright, let's go ahead and change some of our forms properties. Change the name. Okay, the start position, we want to change that to center screen. Change the size. Now the picture we have is 640 by 480. That's too small. So I'm going to multiply that by 1.5 to get a bigger screen, and that comes out to 960 by 720. And let's see here. Now I don't want them being able to resize the form because I'm not going to worry about changing the graphics for resizing, so I'm going to take that off. The form border style, like I said, I don't want them sizing it, so I'm going to change that to fixed single. We want to go ahead and put our double buffering on. And our background image, take it off a tile and move it to none. And I believe that's it. If I forgot something, we'll come back and change it. But let's go ahead over here in our toolbox and find a label, because we got a little bit of a problem here. Double click the form. Under the load event, we'll put label text, and we're going to make it me.client size to string, and just go ahead and run it. Now as you can see, I made the form 960 by 720, but the actual drawing area, this background area, is only 944 by 681, and I want it to be 960 by 720. And over here on the properties, there is no way to change the client size. You'd have to do it dynamically. So under the form load, me.client size equal new system dot drawing dot size, and change it to 960 by 720. And let's change this text in the label, show the form size. Let's go ahead and run it. Okay, now the client size is equal to 960 by 720, so it changed the form size to 976 by 759. So I'm gonna go ahead and manually change it. 976, 759. And we can make sure we can take this off, and let's just make sure that we did get it. Run it. And there we go, 960 by 720. Okay, so let's go ahead and start doing some of our basic uh, procedures we're going to need. We need a start game procedure. Whoops. A start round. An end round. And an end game. Oops. And we're also going to need our drawing. I'm not going to be using the Form Paint event to do the drawing. I'm going to have my own. So here we go. We're just going to call it Draw Game. Excuse me. So on the form load up here, we want to go ahead and start the game. There's going to be a lot more under all of this, but right now this is just the bare bones of making the game. And when we start the game, we're going to set all your values and everything ahead of time that are game values, and then we're going to start the round. Okay, now nothing's going to happen if I run it, but that's fine. So let's just start drawing a picture on this draw game. Let's go ahead before we do that, let's load all our resources in. Go to project, down at the bottom, 11 ball properties. Go to resources, where it says strings up here in the upper left, change that to images. Add resources, hit the drop down, add existing file. Remember we saved everything in desktop, under pictures. We want everything but these two pictures here. So let me start with this one. Hold the shift key, go down, select them all, and open them up. And then we need to add the one we missed, which was the 8 ball. And we can exit out. First, you can see we got everything. We got our background image, our little select triangle here, all the balls, and all of our points. So we can exit out of this. Yes, we want to save it. So let's do the background image. Dim. We'll call it game image. As new bitmap. And the file is my.resources. Whoops. .11 ball. Comma. New size. Parenthesis. 960 by 720. Yeah, we needed to resize our image too because it was only 640 by 480. Excuse me. Now we need to create our graphics object. So DMG as graphics equal graphics dot from image, and that's our game image. Now we need to set our background up our screen. That so me dot background image equals game image. And it's just, and up here under the start round, let's go ahead and just say draw game and give this some run. Okay, and from here I need to go ahead and dispose of my graphic object. So g dot dispose. And there we have it. And we can't maximize it, we can't minimize it. Pull it back up, and our image looks pretty good. Now we need to go ahead and let's start drawing the balls. But before that, we need to dimension an array. So dim ball images, our ball image. Now we got 10 different balls. Now when you do 10 here, we actually have 11, but we'll be using index 0 for something else. So we got our ball images. Now we need to load our ball images, so let's create a new sub. We'll just say load images. And let's see. All image, let's just load one right now. Whoops. My dot resources dot, and it's index 1, so we'll put the one ball in there. Now let's put it right here. Let's put g dot draw image, and it's going to be ball image number 1, and we're going to be putting it at location 150 by 150. And don't forget, over here in our form load, we need to load our ball images. Or load our images. Now start. And there's our one ball. It's a little bit small. We need to make it bigger. So let's go here where we load the ball images. Excuse me. New bitmap. That's the image we want to load. Comma, new size. And let's try 150 by 150. Give that a shot. Well, that's a little bit too big, so change it to 130 by 130. That should be a good size there. While we're at it, let's go over here to where's my mouse? Let's go to the form load. We need to make a little helper here. Go to load, mouse click. Okay, label 1 dot text equal e dot location dot tstring. Let's run this. Now anywhere I click on the map on the form is giving me the location. So right now let's Click on the left hand side. It's at the X is at 153. Click on the right hand side. It's at 269. So that's about 116. Okay. So let's draw another image up here. And let's add 116 to that. So that'd be 166. Same Y location, but I should say 266. And that looks pretty good side by side. So the balls are 116 pixels wide, high, not counting the shadow. So now we know our distance. So let's go ahead and load all of the balls out at once since we know the new size. So this. Up. I had to turn my touchpad off because it kept hitting it. So change these to all the different balls numbers. Add one too many. On this last one, the one at location 0, that's where we're going to put in our little select graphic. And let's just go ahead and throw it up here. And we're going to draw a ball image 0. And there we go. We should have the ball plus a little select item on it. And there we go. So let's go ahead and get this out of here. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to set up an array. Let me pull this picture up I made. On the table there's locations. This ball will always be in that location, not necessarily that ball number, but at location number 1 it will always be here. So what we need to do is set an array up that saves the location number, and it saves what ball is in that location, if any, and where you put the ball at, the actual X and Y location of the ball. So that sounds like a great job for a structure. So let's create a structure. And let's call it PB for pool ball. And the first thing we need is what ball is located there. Whoops. We'll call that ball num, short for ball number. We'll also need its X location. We'll need its Y location. We'll need to know if the ball has been selected or not. Like that capital. And we'll make that a Boolean. And we will need more, but this is good enough for now. So we're going to also need the array that it's in. So let's call it pool table, a P table. There's 22 spots, actually 23 counting the rack ball, and they'll be made from the structure. So let's go ahead and go down here, create a new sub. We'll load the P table. Now let's just do one right now. And we make sure we up here in the form load, we need to go ahead and load the P table. And so let's start our game first. Find out where we're going to put this first ball. Now let me pull my picture up again. I'm going to start. See how we have a left group like a diamond, a center group, and a right group. Once we get these balls here in, we'll know the row that these balls are in. But let's start with this first group right here in the middle, because that's what everything's going to be based off of that. So we want our first ball somewhere around here, and since I did my little mouse click thing, if you're looking at the picture, you can barely see a little bit of the pocket, and the left side is right over here close to where that yellow dot is. So the yellow dot, whoops, the X location is 425 and the Y location is 188. So let's start with that. And let's go up here on our draw image. Okay, the image is going to be what's located at P table 1 dot ball number at location P table one dot X P table location 1 dot Y. Okay, well, got something wrong. Okay, ball image, yeah, ball image right there. And one too many. So let's give this a shot. Oops. Oh, I didn't put a ball number in there. There we go. Okay, I needed to go a little bit higher and a little bit to the left. Okay. That looks pretty good. Now, what we're going to do is, let me go ahead and load all the ball numbers. Just for now. And we're going to increase temp by 1. And if it's greater than 10, then we're going to reset it to 1. And of course, we're going to set that one the rack ball. So really all we did right here, we just temporarily loaded the array with the ball numbers 1 through 10, 1 through 10, 1 through 10. Okay, now I'm going to set up all the array elements for the table location. I'll probably end up speeding this up to start with. There's 2 balls there. And 1 ball there. One ball there. Okay. Let's get the right ball numbers or location numbers. That's 1. Okay. 8. Okay, 2, 6, 11. Okay, we got all of our empty balls, all our locations set up with empty balls in them. Now we got to determine all of them. Like I said, we'll start with this middle one. And let's go ahead and draw all of them at the same time. So let's give this a shot. There's all the balls stacked up one on top of each other, and they're is our main one that we've already done. Okay, we know the balls are 116 pixels wide. So, and you're looking at the picture here, they're about halfway down and they're shifted over about halfway. So, we'll take the Y, go down. Let me look at that again. Yeah, it's fairly close. Okay, so let's go 50. The X will go over 58. So 420 minus 58 is 362. And then add 116 to that. That's 478. Okay, the Y location is 182 minus 58. That's 124. And these will all be 124. So let's give this a shot. Whoops. I'm supposed to be adding, not subtracting. So 182 minus 58. I mean plus 58 is 240. 240 that looks pretty good. That could be a little bit closer. Yeah. So I'll make it let's say 236. Yeah, that looks good. Now this one, the X location will be exactly the same as number 1 ball. And this should also be 58 down, so 236 plus 58 equals 294. And let's look at a picture. Is it any closer than that? Actually, it's a lot closer. So let's make that 286 and see if we got too close. $284. Excuse me. So. As you can see, this is a lot of trial and error. So I'm going to live with that. Now, the next ball I'm going to worry about is 13. It's real close to the 8 ball. It's just almost 1 ball and a teeny bit more to the left. And not quite, probably about a quarter of the way down. So it almost looks like the top of the ball is right about there. So let's see. Let's run it. Like I said, the top of the ball is right about here. That makes like 314 for the X. So let's go to that one. I mean the Y, sorry. Let's try 314. And that's at the X is 420. So we know it's 116, so let's subtract like 124. It's 296, so let's give that a 296. I think that looks pretty good. So these are all going to be at the same Y, so and this will be 116 left, so 296 minus 116 equals, that'll be 180, and this will be minus 116 of that, 64. That looks pretty good. Now let's go on these. We know that the left and right is going to be halfway, so 64 plus 58 equals 122 plus 116, 238. And the Y is 314 minus 58, 256. Excuse me. Okay, let's look at our picture here. Looks like a good distance. Let me look at that again. The next one's closer though, so we know the next ball is going to be the same X as this, but the Y is going to be a little bit closer. Whoops, wrong one. So the X will be the same. I'm sorry, yeah, the X will be the same as the middle one of number 12. So that'll be 180. And the Y would be 256 minus 58, but I want to make it closer, so I want to say minus 50, so 206. I think it needs to be even closer. Yeah. Let's try 210. I think that's good. Now these two balls will be the same X coordinate as these. So 122, 238, and the Y coordinate should be 58. So that's 314 plus 58. I don't know why I can't do this in my head. 372. Give that a shot. Looks like a good distance, and that one should be about the same distance. So this will be the same location as the very first ball on the top of this group, which is 180 and 372 plus 58 equals 430. Okay, I think that looks good. Now this group of balls here, we'll just copy the y coordinates over here, and then we'll only have to worry about the x coordinates. So the y is 282. $210. No, I'm sorry. It's 210, 256. And then the group of 3 is at 314. Okay, the group of 2 is at 372. And the group of 1 is at 430. Let's quick. I know I don't have the X done, but let's just see. Yep, they seem to be lined up there. Now here, the 8 was at 420, and I went to 480. I remember I subtracted 120, so on this one, let me add 120. Excuse me. So is that 420 to start? I mean, 420 to start with plus 420 to speed 540. Actually, wrong one. I'm looking at the 8 ball. It's at 420. Add 120, be 540. It's in the first group of 4. Let me add a little bit more. 544. $42. I'm going to leave it there, 543. So 543 plus 116. $659. And this one should be 775. Okay. Now these should be 58 down. Oops. Let's see, that's 314 plus 58, 372. I already got that one. I need my X. Alright, so this should be 543 plus, yeah, 543 plus 58. $601. And then we're going to add another 116, 717. that looks pretty good. Now this one should be the same as the middle one up there. So that'd be 659. Okay. And these two should be the same as these two. And this should be the same as the very last one. And there we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, the only thing we have left now is to put the rack ball down here. And let me just pick somewhere around here, the left side of the ball right there. So 508 by 583. Let's give that a shot. Ooh, close. Let me, looking at the picture here, it's actually closer. The shadow's barely touching, so that's about halfway through. Okay, let's try 485 and move it up a little bit. 527. Up. 485, not 585. And a little too high up. Let me drop that down a little bit. Okay, that looks good. So basically we've got, oops, I forgot to change the location. 0. Much better. Okay, we've got the location array all set up. So now we need to go ahead and move to randomly picking the balls and throw them on the table. Like you saw at the start of the game, it didn't just all appear at once. It threw them on one at a time. So that's what we're going to be doing next.